two elderly brothers, Hardy and Oscar, lived in a 4-story townhouse that loomed over the city street. Over the years, the wealthy and retired old men had seen their once tranquil neighborhood filled with crime and poverty. The two became increasingly paranoid, and as they looked out their windows, they often believed they could see menacing figures who robbed old women in the daytime and lurked in the shadows at night. Time went on, and the brothers left their house less and less frequently. Finally, they stopped going out in the daytime altogether. They wouldn't even get the mail. They quit paying their bills, and the water, electrical, and gas were shut off completely. At some point, the older brother, Oscar, fell ill. He could no longer care for himself, and he needed Hardy to look after him constantly. Hardy only left the house at night, sneaking around in an old bathrobe and gathering food, water, and objects from the neighborhood. Rumors began to spread about what the two strange men were doing all alone in the spooky old mansion on the corner. Crowds gathered outside the house, and teenagers threw rocks at the windows. Some believed that the townhouse was filled with money and the treasure, so burglars often tried to break inside. This caused the brothers to become even more paranoid. Hardy boarded up all the windows and doors, completely shutting the men off from the outside world. The brothers did not pay taxes on the house for many years. As a result, the police came to repossess the property. They found it impossible to enter because the front door was completely barricaded from the inside. Once again, a crowd gathered. Hardy eventually came to the door, and through the mail slot, he delivered an envelope filled with thousands of dollars in cash. With the money was a note stating that the pair just wanted to be left alone. For a time, the request was granted. A few years later, the police began to receive phone calls about a terrible smell coming from the house. But when they arrived to investigate, no one answered the door. The police had finally had enough, and they decided to cut right through to the entrance. Behind the door, they found a barricade of garbage. As they tunneled through, they discovered that the house was filled from top to bottom with mountains of trash and clutter. Stacks of old newspapers, bottles, and tin cans surrounded them. There were rusty bicycles, pianos, pieces of furniture, mannequins, cameras, carriages, and even an entire Model T car. The police called out for the brothers, but there was no response. A strange and sour odor filled the entirety of the dark brownstone mansion. Moving from room to room was difficult and dangerous. The house was a maze of interwoven tunnels made of junk and debris, and Hardy had set numerous booby traps throughout the building to prevent any intruder from reaching the inmost dens. As they made their way carefully through the traps, the police finally came to the upstairs room where the smell was strongest. It was there, after digging for several hours, that they found the bodies of the two brothers. They discovered the remains of Hardy first. He had been crushed to death by his own booby trap of garbage. His older brother, who had been paralyzed and blind for years, was lying only 10 feet away. Oscar, unable to move or help Hardy in any way, had died of starvation.